Hello, welcome to the news on NT International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Ado Ademwalso, and the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari says cooperation among sovereign nations is not longer a choice, but an absolute necessity in the digital age. On the sideline of the World Economic Forum on Middle East and North Africa, Jordan commit to support Nigeria with hardwires in the onslaught against terrorism. Ahead of the 2019 World Health Day, Nigeria aspires toward ensuring everyone gets prompt medical care. And militia in western Libya battle forces under rival army commander Khalifa Haftar capture 100 soldiers and wage airstrike. Now the news in details. President Muhammadu Buhari says in this digital age, where physical borders no longer exist to protect events, the most secured cooperation among sovereign nations is not longer a choice, but an absolute necessity. He said the only way to overcome what he calls predatory and diversionary forces is for all well-meaning nation-states to work together for greater good of humanity. The president stated this while addressing the World Economic Forum on the Middle East and North Africa on the shores of the Dead Sea in Jordan. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Arab world, comprising the Middle East and North Africa, is a region of two contrasting systems that feature a dynamic private sector as well as a bloated public sector, with economies that are both opened and close-controlled, thereby facing a mixed reality of wealth sitting side by side with poverty.
Hello, bonjour, hola, ni hao.
This economic forum, entitled Building New Platforms of Cooperation, is therefore aimed at charting the best way forward towards achieving economic growth and job creation, entrepreneurship and innovation, as well as environmental management in the greater interest of the nearly 400 million people in the region.
Remember that what you achieve together will be vital to the future we all share.
And I am deeply convinced that there is no other way to deal with global challenges than with a smart, evidence-based global response organized in a multilateral way to benefit all.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who is a special guest of honor at the event, said there is no region now feeling the full impact of the significant shifts the world is now experiencing on many fronts, like the Middle East and Africa. He said while the region is experiencing the highest growth rates in the world, it is unfortunately playing host to some of the deadliest conflicts in recent history, occasioned by terrorism and insurgency.
We must ask ourselves how we, as a region, got to this point. I strongly believe that the lack of socio-economic inclusion was the root cause of many challenges we are experiencing. In this new world without borders, my personal view is stability and sustainability can only be achieved through inclusive economic growth and enhanced cooperation among nations.
Africa and the Middle East, the president also emphasized, must focus on policies that will deliver shared economic prosperity for all their citizens. He said with the available resources, the people and markets, more can be done, especially on trade and investment.
We are determined to industrialize Nigeria, leveraging our comparative advantage. The Middle East is a natural partner. Our new, inclusive and diversified Nigeria is definitely open to business. We must identify how we can work together.
President Buhari said, as friends and allies, countries in the region must not only cooperate and leverage on their relative strengths, but remain open to building new platforms of cooperation. Over 1,000 leaders of government, business, civil society, faith, and academia from over 50 countries are participating at the forum, expected to end on Sunday. From the shores of the Dead Sea in Jordan, about 400 meters below sea level, this is Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still on the World Economic Summit in Jordan, President Muhammadu Buhari has extended appreciation to King Abdullah II bin Al-Hussein of Jordan for the continuous support Nigeria received from the country to fight terrorism. The president says the investment in Nigeria's peace and security by Jordan would always be remembered as the support enabled the Nigerian military to degrade terrorism. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari said the international support Nigeria received, particularly from Jordan, showed commitment to making the world a more harmonious and peaceful place where people can live and pursue their interests without fear. He said with such support and encouragement, the country has made significant progress in the fight against Boko Haram, as all the territories under their control before his coming to power have been recaptured and thousands held against their will liberated. The president, however, made a case for Nigeria and Jordan to strengthen trade relations by exploring areas of competitive advantage for the benefit of the two countries and their peoples. King Abdullah of Jordan said his country will continue to support Nigeria with the needed hardware towards ensuring that the global war against terrorism is successfully prosecuted. He said the long-term bilateral relations between both countries will be strengthened through innovative ideas that will benefit their citizens. President Buhari also met with the Minister of Energy, Industry and Mineral Resources of Saudi Arabia, Khalid Al-Fali, assuring him that Nigeria remains committed to the terms of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, especially on the quota system. The Saudi Arabian minister, who congratulated the president on his re-election for a second term in office, delivered to him a special message from the Saudi monarch, King Salman.
Saudi Arabia is willing to have a very, very good cooperation with Nigeria in both infrastructure development, oil refining, and agriculture. And they have extended an invitation to Mr. President to visit Saudi Arabia with his team to look at the details of all this. And I believe it's very important, and they are very serious about it.
President Buhari is expected to proceed to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, on Sunday. From the Dead Sea, Jordan, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Militias in western Libya fought forces under rival army commander Khalifa Haftar on Friday, capturing 100 of his soldiers and waging an airstrike on one of his positions a day after he declared an offensive to seize Tripoli, the capital of the oil-rich nation. The violence came as UN chief wrapped up his visit Friday, aimed at avoiding an expanded conflict, and said he left with a heavy heart and deep concern. The escalation comes after forces commanded by Haftar, who runs a self-styled Libyan National Army based in the country's east, pushed westward. He brought his troops closer to Tripoli, which is controlled by the UN-backed Presidential Council and Government of National Accord and supporting militias. Elsewhere, Iran moved on Saturday to evacuate more towns and villages threatened by flood after continued rain in the southwest of the country. Many residents of the Suwad, with a population of about 50,000 and 5 other communities in the oil-rich southwestern province of Khuzestan, were being moved to safer areas as officials to release water from major dams. State TV reported the provincial governor as saying that evacuation order has been issued. Moving on, the House Committee on Foreign Affairs has advised the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that posting to missions are given to those who have more years in service to reduce the financial burden on the country. These are other recurring projects in the ministry budget over the years came up as the committee engaged the ministry. National Assembly correspondent Omotola Omojola reports.
Debt owed Nigerians who are on foreign mission amounting to more than 3 billion naira attracted the committee's attention, advising that calculated posting that ensures fiscal efficiency for the nation should be prioritized.
When are you going to find money to pay Nigerians who have labored, who have served this country on foreign missions? I mean, who are back home? For how long? Are we going to continue to roll it over and over and over?
If we look at the releases of the funds of overhead for last year, They are only 7-month releases, which means automatically what you have planned to do within the budget year, you are likely going to have issues dealing with the remaining part.
We also must, in working together, devise a means where the people who we send out are people who don't have to come back, who are not retiring in 6 months.
The committee showed particular interest in the power challenges of the ministry and the inefficiency of interconnectivity provision across Nigeria's foreign mission to ease communication.
We do not have one mission that is on that interconnectivity thing. That contract has to be scrapped. For over 10 years, we have fed that contract.
The committee also asked that the ministry look into over-bloated staffing in foreign missions, among other issues. From the National Assembly, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
To health matters now. Ahead of the 2019 World Health Day in Nigeria, an awareness walk around Major Street in Abuja has been held. Organized by the World Health Organization in Nigeria, it was joined by partners of World Health Organization in the country and health correspondents. The theme for this year's celebration is universal health coverage, everyone, everywhere. It is aimed at ensuring that everyone obtained the care they need, when they need it, and right in the heart of the society.
The World Health Day falls on 7th of April every year, and here in Nigeria we decided to commemorate it with a walk starting today, and the significance is that it is used every year with a different theme to promote the holistic nature of health.
Basi Eta Epan reports that the day, which is celebrated every 7th of April, also marked the anniversary of World Health Organization. Nigeria has been aspiring toward ensuring that everyone gets prompt medical care at when due, in line with World Health Organization universal health coverage. To contribute its quota to this goal, the Daughters of Charity of St. Vincent de Paul Hospital reached out to the medical need of residents of Kubwa and its environs. Uche Ogochukwu was there.
Data rank Nigeria among the highest out-of-pocket spending and poorest indicators in the world, as its population is not captured in the National Health Insurance Scheme, leading to an estimated 12.4% deaths per 1,000 annually. Ahead of the World Health Day, which focuses on universal health coverage, the Daughters of Charity of the St. Vincent de Paul have resolved to stand in the gap for over 3,000 residents in Kubwa, Abuja in 5 days.
Seeing the poor as representing God and those who need basic health system.
Our goal is, at the end of the day, every citizen of the country should be able to have free medical access to free health care.
Universal health is key to the attainment of the SDGs. Government and non-government institutions are advised to cooperate for the success in Nigeria.
Actually, it has reserved me some money that I would have spent.
Appreciate the thing they do for us. May God bless you.
There is sustained advocacy for the federal government to implement already existing health policies for a healthy population. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We take a break now, and the news continues shortly. Now, good to know that you're with NTA International. Women's minimal participation in election has multidimensional implication for democratic projects in Nigeria and for the continuous quest for gender equality in Africa's biggest economy. Timothy Yusuf reports on a strategy meeting on experience sharing of female candidates in the 2019 general elections.
The 2019 elections is the 6th consecutive general election since the beginning of the Fourth Republic in 1999. This marks what is undoubtedly a measure of democratic processes, especially for conducting periodic elections since the return to civil rule. What remains deeply in doubt, however, is how inclusive this progress has been, and in particular to what extent women have benefited in the process. Political analysts believe that the 2019 general elections witnessed a sharp decline of women participation in politics, mostly in elective positions. According to the Center for Democracy and Development, statistics for now show that only 4 females occupied the position of deputy governor in the recent polls, with 7 winning election into the Senate. 11 female candidates made it to the House of Representatives, while 40 succeeded.
And that is all we can take for now. We are now joining our outside broadcast for a live transmission of the Kannywood Entertainment Victory Dinner. Thank you for your time.
NTA. I am Kevin Williams, and I will be your guide through this particular event, which is of course in celebration of President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election. For the Hausa language film industry, also known as Kannywood, based in Kano State, it is indeed victorious because of the unflinching support they have always shown towards the Buhari administration since 2015. In fact, during the 2019 APC re-election campaign for President Muhammadu Buhari and his vice, Yemi Osinbajo, held in Kano State, top Kannywood stars came out in their numbers to campaign for the president. So, do not be caught unawares by the very broad smiles you will be seeing on faces of guests present at this event tonight. It's good to have you join us, and like our Hausa friends would say, Sanu da zuwa.
Wannan shi akwashi ƙwarya domin ni na ga janar baya sata tun can baya da ganin wannan matsayi ko kun san da akwai girma kowa ya rike matsayin sai ya zarce abin nema ni dai na yi mamaki duka an yi shiru da munkar kurma yau ba wani mai zagin wannan dattijo ko gulma President yanzu a ce bai da gida a Abuja kowa ya san da hakan ba mai cewa zai ja farin hali farin jari kuma shi ne hujja mun yi shaidar dattijo shi ba ya saka mu a danja wani bungalo na gani a Kaduna gida nasa ko ciya mana ai zai wannan ko dan majalisa ni ta wanda ke sai na nema kuma na rasa na iri na gidansa Kaduna babu a kurkusa sai na hangi gidan na shi yabo na albasa daga nan ko idan muka koma a Daura aka tsana nan ma wani bungalo na gani can ya gina aka ce mani dobe gida na Buhari aka tsina bai wuce bi kyaurin sanata ba da ya gina amma a hakan ya haƙura kuma ya dangana ya sam damar da zai satarsa a ko'ina amma ya iya burinsa a gyara ƙasa ta dattijo mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, 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 aniyarsa akwai dubun kai, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, ni na tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun 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 tsaya da Buhari da Tijo. Abun mamaki na ga ministan amman fetur yake, amma kuma ba shi da komai wai shin yaya abun yake. Ministocin fetur fana da ai tara kuɗi suke, wasu rijiyoyin maye ma ai na ga sukan haƙe, amma shi ko jarkar mai ba shi da shi in mun kula, balle mu taho gidan mai ba shi da shi duka mun kula, balle a rijiyar maye fa Buhari na cewa da godiyar Allah kaɗai yau ta sa shi ke walwala. Buhari gwarzo ne har ma makwabta sun gane, miliyan 30 suke zaɓensa a kimani, mai ja da shi fashi zai sha wahala na ce kuje na karya ne, duniya tana shaidarsa Buhari lallai kwararre ne, tafiyar da mulki mun shaida shi aikutacce ne, sannu zo ga tantana kan kasan mu baba mun gane. Mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, ni na tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, ni na tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, kai ma ka tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, kai ma ki tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, kuma ku tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, kuma mu tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, kowa ya tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, kai duka mun bi Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, jajirtaccen namiji ɗaya ne kuma mai karfin dubu, rage gwamnati yau ta zamta ka alkhairi ya zo, dattijon daura farin jara mai sanadin samun rabo, dukiyar da ta makale baba yau kai ɗai ka kakkabo, sannu so ta taho zaki kai gunjin ka daban yake, rundunar 'yan karya in sun gan kafa watsewa suke, tara ko nasu sun ka naɗa kuma baba Buhari ka tsallake, samun a irin ka kasar nan Allah ai da wuya yake. Ku ce mana mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, na tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, na tsaya da Buhari da Tijo, mun tsaya da Buhari.
Distinguished and esteemed guests, that has been our own Musa Gwambe. May I, before introducing the next artist, announce the arrival of the National President of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Mr. Danielson Akban, GCNS. Honorable, you're welcome. Equally, I want to recognize from the Director of Operations of Good Governance Ambassadors of Nigeria, Eisenhower Turner, you're welcome. The Deputy Director General Coordination of the 2019 APC Presidential Campaign Council, Architect Waziri Bulama is here. Sir, you're welcome. Not forgotten to acknowledge and mention the Honorable Chairman of Ikara Local Government, Ibrahim S. Sani. Honorable Chairman, you're welcome. May I very quickly bring on stage an ace artist in Kannywood, Alaji Nazifi Asnani. Let's celebrate him, please. Nazifi Asnani. He said we should give him more round of applause. Alaji El, you're welcome. Thank you.
Urunkus shi kenan mun ga sakamakon canji. Buhari na 'yan Najeriya tafi limamin canji. An san mako da sallama, da dai ni ɗan gida ne, amma sai na yi sallama don nunin ba mugun bane. Sannan kuma sai in faro karatun wasiƙa ta da sauriya, bayan dubin gaisuwa yaya fama. kama da 'yan uwa, yaya fama da 'yan Najeriya wanda suka yi tururuwa, suka ce komai kishin ruwa, musamman 'yan arewa, ba dan ba a Kano kowa zance Buhari Baba Buhari saniro gadibin masikata, in talakawa na kuka, sun ce kai suke fata, kuma sun zo sun yi zaɓe, sun daɗin ya kai da fata, dan Allah mun yi roƙo a duba wai me ke bukata, ni dai na ce gani na a bashi wuta da tsaro da jariya, sannan ilimi gaskiyar zance sai an kula shi, kaga dai yanzu ilimin yara an wargaza shi, wayo duniya wayo baba idan ka duba ilimin yaran biyan go in babu kuɗi komai abin kawallai ka rasa shi, in baba ina ma za a duba ce an masa tsariya, mun san kayi abin da ba mun sani ba, baba taimaka dan Allah ba wai ka biya ba, baba Allah yi ma albarka wannan ban kiro ka ba, tun da na tabbata baka yi shiri na cuta ba, kuma mun shaide ka baba baka shan giya baba balle mata ko kwata ba, abin da kawai ban sani ba sai dai kogo da yana da kwari, da akwai maganar waɗanda su ba sa kishin kasata, ba sa san kasata, so suke sai sun kashe ta, sun nace kuma an ba sa amana ba sa rike ta, wayo kasata baba kana kishin kasata, inda kai ne garkuwarta to ya kamata tallafe ta, baba ka taimaka a kasar an san su ne tsirariya, mun da labarin su kuma ba mu neman su, tunda su burinsu da su da 'ya'yansu su satar kudaden makarshe mu buge a gindinsu, kuma kowa ya gani amma an shiru ba mu so a bar su, tunda dama ai kudin amana an ka ba su, to in kwa hakan ne a hukunci ko da dai da mari, baba Buhari wasikar nan ta zo karshe, ban faɗi komai ba lokacin ka nake hasashe, ka san shugaban kasa kamar kai sai an tara sashi, kuma ni na san Buhari baka amai kalashi, wata rana ka faɗa baka ji ba baka bari a kwashe, kuma dukkan 'yan kasa mun yadda baka barin mu yashe, Allah ya dafa maka baba Buhari ka kara kwari, a nan zan huta wasikar ta wata kare, abinda na ce ba daidai ba zan so a gyare, wanda na faɗa daidai Allah sa kuma kada a ture, baba Buhari ga du'a'i Allah dai ya kare, baba Buhari ta ga hannu sai mu rufe a tare, Allah sanya makiyanka su koma kama da tsire, mu ko 'yan kasa mi tafi garin naman ko da wari.
All right, thank you very much. May I acknowledge and announce the arrival of the Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, Professor Omar Garba Dambatta. Let's give him, please, a round of applause. Professor is here with his own family. You're welcome, sir. Honorable Nazib Thani, a member representing Gumel in the National Assembly. You're welcome, Honorable. Thank you very much. Equally, Mr. Abdurrahman Bala, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Kano State on Student Union, is here. We thank you most sincerely.
Well, interestingly, some people would say Kennywood stars are one of the most swaggered entertainers in the world. While some may find it difficult to come to terms with this notion, well, but going by the array of people in attendance here tonight, their elegant indigenous attires, the exquisitely decorated hall, and grace that hovers over every guest present here, one might be tempted to join this swagger school of thought. Sitting across the hall are a number of personalities and entertainment A-listers. Prominent among them, Ali Nuhu is considered one of the most popular Kannywood actors who came into limelight in 2004 during the hit series Waiting Day. You can rightly refer to him as a son of the soil because he represents not just his family but his state as well.
You're welcome. Very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, please. 1 minute, please. May I very quickly, recognize Ambassador Hussaini Kumasi, the Deputy National Coordinator of Buhari Campaign Organization. Sir, you're welcome. Let's celebrate him, distinguished guest. Equally, we have a former governorship aspirant in Zamfara State, Alhaji Sagir Hamidu is here. Sir, you're welcome. You're welcome, sir. At about time, I bring on stage Alhaji Ibrahim Yala. If you're ready, don't Allah mutafawa Alhaji Ibrahim Yala. Kamanya iso muna Honorable Jafar Magaji, a member of the House of Representatives, is here. You're welcome, sir. Yala, you're welcome.
Yau Najeriya, yau Najeriya, roƙo sai mai gaskiya, Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana, ƙasa ɗaya al'umma ɗaya. Mun gina sabuwar Najeriya, an dora ƙasar mu a gaskiya. Tafarkin nan na mazanjiya. Baba sura ka kai mu a next level gyaran tsarin Najeriya. Allah mai jiya da yau gobe da jibi ma, mai juyar da zamani ba wani tantama. Kai ka ba Buhari mulkin mu halalama, kamar jiya gashi shekaru ko gara an gama. Saura shekaru hudu matakin gaba ma, Allah dan safa da marwa da muke yi ma. Taimaki shugaba Buhari Najeriya, ga tunku cikin mai yauci da kububuwa, ashe bana addu'ar tallaka na amsuwa. Daɗi na da ɗan adam saurin mantuwa, kaga su tanko yau talaka suke rawa. Har da faɗin ku bi mu kowa zai sha ruwa, wai shi za ya kawo ƙarshen wahalar yunwa. Idan Allah ku tambaye shi zancen Adamawa, ya aka yi bar mutanensa a damuwa. gajiya ya ci a ce a waka har na huta haka tun da wasu mu Allah ya ba damar haka ga su a bangare na waka sun ɗaukaka jama'a wanda din na saba mashi gun waka ya yi mana abuwa ya yi mana duk yafiya yau Najeriya yau Najeriya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Populous for Nigeria yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya next level shine mutuncin Najeriya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana Allah wanda ya halitta duka duniya mun kuma mun yi roƙon mu duka gaba daya next level muke buƙatan Allah daya Baba Buhari dan ya tallafi Najeriya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana Allah kai dubin salati gun shugaba mai ceton maran da kowa ke fargaba annabi ran kiyama ka samu sahun gaba mun bi rasul dan amina mai gaskiya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana lalle da wurin ta yi wa ƙasan nan uba wanda zuwansa har wa yau ban ga kamar sa ba sun ce mai na baya yau gashi sahun gaba Baba Buhari kai da kai da mijin duniya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana shi zakaran da rabbana sarki yayi ba dole ku da bai gida ko gogoran goba dan haka ku da shi balle ku zurfafa yau Allah yana a bayan mai gaskiya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana Kano Husaini dan mutan Najeriya alfahari muke da samun mai gaskiya Baba Buhari shi ya tallafi Najeriya mu addu'ar mu Allah da da maka lafiya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana alfaza zitilas inda da gode maka dan sha'anin tsaron kasar nan mun warraka aiko da mahasada nai sun san haka batun sha'anin tsaro a yau ta zarce jiya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana ban ja ke kiran ku mata na wajen gari duk ku shigo ku ja kuɗe da na cikin gari idan zaɓe ku ɗauki kati ku yi ayari zaɓi Buhari Baba gwarzon Najeriya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana alkhairan Buhari ya zarce a bayyana ya taɓa manya-manya har ma 'yan kankana ciyarwar ɗaliban firamare ammana nura na kwaliti faɗa musu su ji gaskiya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana da yardar rabbana Buhari sai ya kuma Baba Buhari shi ya zamto raba gardama ka tashi rabe ka baba sai dai su yi laluma na Aisha President mai san Najeriya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana kuma da zuwan Buhari noma ya haɓaka janyo teku har arewa an yi haka man bila haidiro ana ta yiwar haka duk sanadin zuwan Buharin Najeriya yau Najeriya roƙo sai mai gaskiya Baba Buhari Allah ya maimaita mana Buhari ya bi da mu a kwancin da muke ciki don mun sha wuya a baya ga farmaki ana sace kudin mu duka
Do Allah mu tafawa Ibrahim Yala a tafa mishi do Allah. Muna tare da Sarki Ali Nuhu yana tare da mu jinjina a gare shi. And Sakta, you're welcome. At about time, we say all of you, those that are standing by the aisle, we ask your indulgence to be seated, please. Alaji Jega, we say you're welcome, Alaji Jega. And I want to acknowledge and announce the ramble of Alaji Saidu Malemi. Is here. Honorable Alaji Saidu Malemi, you're welcome. We've seen you, we say you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. And I made a mix-up in recognizing the chairman of Ikara. The proper name is Alaji Honorable Ibrahim Ethani. Honorable, you're welcome. Honorable Chairman, you're welcome. I can see you seated. To the chair of Sangha, all from Kaduna State, Honorable Charles Daladi. May I, at this juncture, distinguished and esteemed guests, welcome you once again to this event, which is, of course, a victory dinner to honor the President-elect, President Muhammadu Buhari, and of course, first professor is a barrister, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Yemi Oshibajo. Today, we and of course, are the Transcup celebrating the personalities. We have kickstarted the event with the display of some artists, and in our mix, we have many personalities that are here gracing this occasion. You can see our dear father, a professor, and of course an erudite scholar, Professor Garba Dambata is seated. The Executive Vice Chairman of NCC, Mr. Jack Rich, has been here right on time. Honorable Abdulaziz Siradua is equally in this very important hall. We have our my dear brother, Mr. Olujuwon Olusegun Obasanjo is here, the leader of the youth in Nigeria. Mr. Tokubo, you're welcome. Ali Nuhu is equally here. We say to all of you, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Honorable Yusuf Ali, Honorable Tijani Abduna Abdu are all here. Daniel Amokachi is equally in this very important I've seen a traditional title holder, just stepping in. He is wow. I can see him, the Dujuman Adamawa, Alaji Musa Alilu is here. May we give him please a word of applause. Is here. Let's celebrate him, distinguished guest. The Dujuman Adamawa, a personality that has been good to this industry. I'm thinking about Kannywood entertainment industry. This personality has been doing well. He has been magnanimous and benevolent enough that today is here to witness this victory dinner so organized by the Kannywood entertainment industry and the National Youth Council of Nigeria. May I, ladies and gentlemen, we have now on display on this Sakomo Konchenji. We are going to see it live on the screen, if you're ready.
Sakamakon canji da Buhari da su ma sun koma. gidaje ba, bai sassai motoci ba, da kudin talakawa ba, bai sai jirgin sa na kai ne ba, a Ingila bai asusu ba, Amurka bai asusu ba, har yanzu rakwad bai nuna ba, rijiyar mai bai dauko daya ba, hakanan bai bayar kyauta ba, mai komar tattara 'yan zamba, Baba Buhari da shan Allah. Haji Musa Halilu Tijiman Adamawa a toga sabonka, tila sai mun faɗi sunanka, ba maganar boye kanka, Allah dan ya haskaka, al'ummar na kaunarka, in ka zaɓi Buhari muna son ka, in ka ce mu faɗi kowa ya ji a Najeriyar mu sakamakon canji da Buhari kasar na daidaita.
Dogo mai dogon zamani, Buhari muna nan bayan ka, makiyanka suna da kushe ka, talakawa suna da ƙaunar ka. Sakamakon canji da Buhari 'yan mata na Chibok suka dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari mun ga 106 adadin su sun dawo, baje ka dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari maza mata a 16,000 an kwato su gida suka dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari 'yan lema suka ɗauke kansu sai da Buhari ya zo suka dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari yau san bisa ta zama hanya, in ka so ka je ka dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari Buhari ya ce burtero sa su zaki karka bari su yawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari arewa maso gabashi na kasar mu yau talakawa na iya yawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari an kwato duka lokal dimmin inda miyagu ke kai kawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari da makarantu ma an kulle an buɗe da Buhari ya dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari masu gudun hijira miliyan 1 yanzu gidajen su sun dawo. Sakamakon canji da Buhari sakamakon canji da Buhari ne aka daina gudun fama. Fati Nijar ina shaida ke san da hakan kuma. Musa Halilu ne ya ce mu tunatar da duka al'umma. Rijima Adamawa na Baba Buhari gaishe ka shahidima. Tunda Baba Buhari ya yarda da kai mu ma tilas mu ji zancen ka.
A gurin kusa shi kenan mun ga sakamakon canji, Buhari na 'yan Najeriya ta fi mun canji. Danti daga maimaita mana a kyalale mata yaƙi. A gurin kusa shi kenan mun ga sakamakon canji, Buhari na 'yan Najeriya ta fi mun canji. Danti daga maimaita mana a kyalale mata yaƙi. Kun ji Hussein dan ko yanzu kasar mu ta samu baba. An yi ruwa an ɗauke mun ga tsoro bana za mu yi gaba. Baba Buhari kenan me mana aiki baya kwaba. Kaya abun madalla baba ba za biki maimaici ba. Tun da ƙasa ta samu ya ko ba za mu ruwan ƙuri'a ba. Dan noma ya samu gobe kasar mu ba a yi yunwa ba. Baba Buhari baba, da dajo bai kasa ba. Yayin abin da ba kushewa a jinjina wa baba. Kasar mu bai bari ba, wasu suna kasawa kwashewa. Baya munafurci kuma baya sace kuɗaɗen mu. Ba shi da makirci kullum buri shi ya ceto mu. Baba muke buri ka yi maimaici a ƙasa ta mu. Dattijan kirki shi ya cancanci masoyin mu. Shaida ya samu ya kwato duka haƙoƙin mu. Ga ƙuri'o'in mu ma shi ne aniyata mu.
Dogo mai dogon zamani, Buhari muna nan bayan ka. Makiyanka suna da kushe ka, talakawa suna da ƙaunar ka.
All right, thank you very much. Our disc jockey, Santino. A lokaci ne da muke kira ga 'yan tim ɗin PDP ta mutu don Allah ku haye wannan dandamali domin gabatar da ɗaku. Tim PDP ta mutu don Allah ku haye wannan guri domin gabatar da naku don Allah. Lokaci na tafiya.
Well, we have been experiencing quite a harsh weather in Abuja and of course across many states of the country. It's been really hot. But you might want to be in an event like this where the sight of your favorite stars can perhaps provide some relief and make you forget the heat outside. Apparently we have representatives not just from Kannywood but from other sectors, even sports. We have Daniel Amokachi present here.
Wanda suka rera wannan waka da Allah sahiyo wannan dandamali domin gabatar da wannan waka a gaban jama'a. Na faɗi ina ƙara nanatawa cewa wannan sha'ani da muke gabatarwa yanzu ana kallon shi a tashar NTA ta ƙasa a duk inda ake a ƙasa da kuma wajen Najeriya ana kallon mu abin da ke faruwa a wannan ɗakin taro na Transcorp. Don Allah ku hayo sama lokaci na tafiya please. All right, this decade, if you're ready, I so allow you, and I introduce them. They're going to do it together.
A karan batar karshe sai talaka ya ci faɗan karshe Buhari zai cinye zaɓe da an ware kullum karshe masu lema na su gune likita ta yan dukkan jiniya kenan Buhari ya cinye zaɓe yau takaici zai karsi yan taware kuma kenan dai an daga zaɓe masu sakamakon canji kun ga mun dawo kenan Buhari zai cinye zaɓe juman adamawa jirgin mu ga wani sabon nan masu lema na su gune tawagar mata abdul amatu mai kwashewar Buhari ya cinye zaɓe yanzu dai mun gama targada kilewa shi kenan aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa APC ce ya PDP ta mutu babu Buhari Allah saka gama lafiya aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa APC ce a san PDP ta mutu Baba Buhari Allah saka gama la aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa APC ce ya PDP ta mutu Baba Buhari Allah saka gama lafiya Allah gargaza ne matun daga shi ta yaki mun gan ku ta yaki hakuri yake ba ku kasa ta inji baba baba ya ce ayi hakuri a duba baba ce bai ma so ayo hakan ba baba rai ne bai so akai hakan ba tunda jiya ya kiransa baba ya sa tunda jiya addu'arsa wacce ya sa yana ta daura uban mu bai zauna ba a ce an ya kiran da bai sani an yo ba ba nasa babu laifin baba shaida ba ka yi zance mi ba yaya za a yi karo ba kai nasara ba sabon san za su fadi ban ƙarya ba gaba hannun na gaban kuku yan gaba sabon nan zai iso ba mun yi fushi shawara ba ka ba har ba dai su ba maganar ma za a bi su ba ta taso ba maganar da suka yi a baya mun duba Najeriya ba zai manta ba an gama kurkus sun faɗi aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa APC ce ya PDP ta mutu Baba Buhari Allah saka gama lafiya sati ɗaya ne tak a shafe ko za a yi shi muke da talaka kai muke da talaka baba Allah ya riga dai komai da kake kasar mu kai mana daidai zaɓe ko zai wata guda tallaka na nan zai danna mana kisar so gama cuta kamar gobe muke gani za a yi zaɓe talaka idanunsu suna gani ƙura'a duka za mu ba Buharin haɗa sansani za a yi zaɓe talaka mu yi haƙuri ƙura'a duka za mu ba fito da yunƙuri za a yi zaɓe talaka ɗau baba janar Buhari ƙura'a duka za mu ba kun ji tsari da ƙwari sati ɗaya ne ku bar faɗin baba ya tsorata sati ɗaya ne masu lemara sun jibuta sati ɗaya ne suna ta hauma bata sati ɗaya shi talaka kullum yana jiransa sati ɗaya baba Buhari kullum yana faɗinsa sati ɗaya ne kun ji burin talakan cikin ƙasa ta sati ɗaya ne ta waziri na zo ina ta zance na dau janar Buhari aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa APC ce ya PDP ta mutu Baba Buhari Allah saka gama lafiya batun rage
bogi sun ka bugowa. Sakamakon zaɓe sun yi yau zanawa. Ashe sirrin boye ya fito sarari.
Masu lema sun gigita.
Ka dau shirin su na
Gurgun mu babu damar sata.
Buhari ne zai koma.
Mange zaɓe sun yi fusata.
Ka dau shirin su na
Talakawa kun ga kar mu fusata.
Buhari ne zai
Mai
koma.
zuwa mu kuli fito mu da kwarkwata. Mu zaɓi Buhari din madubin Najeriya.
Aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa. APC jihar ya PDP ta mutu. Baba Buhari Allah sa ka gama lafiya.
Wani dai sun gama yin shirin su sun kwanda bakin ciki. Sun zama ka tuntube kana yi da daɗin ciki. Sun ja kaja da kansu sun gajiya sun saki. Kome ne zai wahale da su babu kamar haki. To Baba Buhari Allah kare ka kamar ido. Hata ka yi rayuwa ka tsara ta kamar bado. Da sanin zaki irin ka sai dai mara kan gado. Ruwa kake a ji sa ka sha ka bar sai da taron ido. Turmi a daka a bar ka fili makurar gudu. Ko su daga ko su bar shi kai ne bisa kan tudu. Duk makircinsu za su kare shi su gudu. Su kyale ka akan ragar ka gwarzon Najeriya.
Aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa. APC jihar PDP ta mutu. Baba Buhari Allah sa ka gama lafiya.
Da waɗansu suna fushi domin zaben an daga.
Dai an daga zaɓe.
A bar maganar fushi zai zago kuma a buga.
Aikin gama ya gama.
Sai sakin yakin dan na ji sun bi mu da tsinuwa.
Dai an daga zaɓe.
Da suna ta guna-guni ogan nasu da hannama.
Aikin gama ya gama.
Mu ko namu Buhari sai ya ce ba a rike ba.
Dai an daga zaɓe.
Ku bar su hayaniya kawai za su yi su gama.
Aikin gama ya gama.
Shi ya sa jama'ar mu muke bin su da lalama.
Dai an daga zaɓe.
Wanda duk baya Buhari kai ya ci kararuma.
Aikin gama ya gama.
Da dattija farin gani albarka ya ruwan sama.
Dai an daga zaɓe.
Domin babanmu nasara ta yi ta yi sama.
Aikin gama ya gama.
Magauta ya dara ku sai ku yi taron gama.
Dai an daga zaɓe.
Jama'a ƙuri'ar ku sai ku ɗebo ta kuɗin guma.
Aikin gama ya gama.
Ku zo ku zuba ta babu mai yi muku tsangwama. Gara bagare dama ya wuce tsangwama. Baba Buhari rabu zai maimaita maka. Mu'azin na birnuwa ku ce mun raba gardama.
Aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa. APC jihar ya PDP ta mutu. Baba Buhari Allah sa ka gama lafiya. Buhari mijin Aisha. Mata ba ma zaɓi wani kama. Buhari mijin Aisha zaɓen ban mu fusata ba. Mata mun waje rijistar ba mu ya gaba. Buhari mijin shekara 1000 ba ma barka ba. Mata wace haram ba ma bi shi ba. Buhari mijin Aisha.
Ta canza zani ba, babu ku ba karba masu ciwon zamba. Buhari ne zai ci gaba tukun ku bai nasara ba. Da addu'ar talakawa tsoho ba za ka zube ba. Buhari ikon rabba, ana ta tona asirinsa a idanun duniya. Rijita na ce Buhari ka gama lafiya.
Aikin gama ya gama an danna mana kisa. APC jihar ya PDP ta mutu. Baba Buhari Allah sa ka gama lafiya.
Ashe ba su iyawa, kirgin giwa kabuwa ya ayyo ya gawa.
Gaje sun muje mama.
Dogo dan daura na Aisha ka fitarewa.
Well, I think they deserve another warm round of applause, distinguished guests. That's a raw display of creativity. The personalities have done well. Distinguished and esteemed guests, may I acknowledge and recognize Alhaji Abubakar Abdullahi Meikano, the AO to Mr. President. We say you're welcome, sir. Let's give him please a round of applause. Sir, you're welcome. A lokaci ne yanzu da zan gayyato wasu manya-manya ƙwararru a harkar su. All right, distinguished and esteemed guests, may we request our indulgence to please all be seated. As any moment from now, the proper program will be kick-started, please. May we request our indulgence, those that are standing by the aisle, those standing by the walkway. We ask your indulgence to please allow room as the program is officially kick-starting any moment from now. Most sincerely, we say to all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. DJ Santino, you know, went. And I can see from the outside, I've been hearing the siren. And I wish to announce the arrival of His Excellency. And any moment from now, they will step into the hall.
Well, another personality present here, worthy to be mentioned, is brother to the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. His name is Alhaji Abdulaziz Yar'Adua. Such a striking resemblance with his late brother.
You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Equally, Mr. Gasol, the chairman of the Governing Council of the Nigerian Film Cooperation, is here. We say to all of you, a very good evening as we are gathered in here today, being the 6th day of the month of April, the year 2019, to celebrate the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari and Professor Yemi Osinbajo, so organized by Kannywood Entertainment Industry and, of course, the National Youth Council of Nigeria. May I request the DJ to give us some musical interlude for 1-2 minutes before the arrival of our expected guest. Mr. DJ, please. Well, Dr. Chidi, we have seen you. Of the Nigerian Film Cooperation. Doctor, you're welcome, please. All right. All right, very quickly, may I invite veterans in the field of acting in Kannywood, Alhaji Shehu Kanu, Amalan Alaji Daushe, Alaji Rikadawa to please come up stage. Lokaci ne da zan gayyaci Alaji Shehu Kano, Daushe, Alaji Daushe da Alaji Rikadawa za su hayo wannan dandamali domin baje mana hajar su. Don Allah mai masu jinjina a tafa musu don Allah. Don Allah a tafa musu.
Alau shalo. Wai in ji masu gurmi suka ce alau shalo. To, aka ce wai ƙurunkus ɗan kan kusu. An gama shiƙar an miƙo mana tsaba. To, daga ya mai aiki.
Announce on the arrival of His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, His Excellency Malam Nasur Ahmed El Rufai, coming in together with his wife, Hajja Aisha Umi El Rufai, and I can see they are coming in. The PA to the Governor, Malam Omar Farouk Saleh, is on the team of His Excellency. All right, thank you very much. Also, distinguished Senator-elect of Kaduna Central Senatorial District, a young, vibrant personality, Senator-elect Ubasani is here. You're welcome, sir. All right. Announcing the arrival of Alaji Nasuru Danu, the Assistant Director Logistics of the Presidential Campaign Council. Equally joining us is Senator Garba Lado. Senator Lado is here. We thank you most sincerely, as all of you are here. May we request those that are standing, we ask your indulgence to please all be seated. Allow His Excellency and our distinguished senators to have their seat. May we request that all of us be seated. There's going to be time for exchange of pleasantries, please. Those with your phones snapping picture, we ask your indulgence. We crave your indulgence that please allow room for His Excellency to have the breath of air. Later, there's going to be time for exchange of pleasantries, please. Thank you, please. May I request that we all be seated and we please all rise up for the national anthem, please. I've been directed to ask your indulgence, so please all stand up as we take the national anthem, signaling the kickstart of this event. Don Allah masu ɗauke-ɗauken nan na hotuna nake nufi, ai haƙuri a samu guri a zazzauna, lokaci ne da za mu ɗauki taken Najeriya yanzu don Allah. All right, Your Excellency, may we all stand up for the national anthem, please. All right, no, break it down. The request, the organizers requested for that, but it has been overruled, please. Thank you very much. We may wish to be seated, please. All right. So we have learned that His Excellency, the Vice President is on his way. So as he's stepping, we kickstart the event. We said apologies for asking you to please be on your feet. The organizers are saying apologies, 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 please. Very quickly, inviting once again, Alhaji Shehu Kano. No, I have to invite you. Apologies, please. Ranar Kuche, zan sake gayyata ku. Wannan dandamali, Alhaji Shehu Kano, Daushe, da Alhaji Rika Dawo, do Allah ku haso ku hayo wannan. Don Allah, I'm sorry, please. I only to listen to one person, please. I'm sorry, okay, thank you. Don Allah masu tsayawa, don Allah a samu a zauna, a samu a zazzauna, muna godiya da haɗin kai da ake badawa. Mun gode.
Hello, shalom. Tane na ce karɓo mana, ka san lashin kita. Ɗazu na fara cewa ta mai kiɗan gurmi. Na ce alau shalo sai ga ainihin mai girma gwamnan jihar Kaduna ya shigo. Mune maka barka da zuwa. A wannan rana fata mu ce shehu, ko ba haka ba, mu dai inda muke gode wa Allah mun sai da fuska mun ci tuwo.
Ni ba wato ba da wannan bayanin naka daushe.
To ga shi nan ya zo ga daushe ne.
Ba da wannan bayanin naka kana ji, ba da wannan bayanin naka nake so in yi wa mai girma gwamna barka da zuwa ba. DJ ka sa waƙar mai girma gwamnan jihar Kaduna imana ita zai ƙara sawa ai. Ai da ita DJ kai mana playing wannan nam.
Kai waƙar ka sani ni kuma na fi ka sanin yadda gwamna yake rawar waƙar.
Ai shi yasa ni kuma nake so in nuna maka na fi shi rawar waƙar.
A'a mu fara jin waƙar dai tukuna kafin a yi rawan ko?
Da ni da kai za a ga wanda ya iya. Ka sani a waƙar ka san abin da nake so? Inda aka ce guduma mai fasa ƙarya. Guduma Malam Nasir yan Rufa'i guduma mai fasa ƙarya. Kuma kaga ya fasa ƙaryar. Wallahi ya fasa ƙaryar. Ni yanzu ma ina jin Allah ya taimake ka na ya ƙarar da ga masu ƴan ya sunansa irin wannan abin Ciko Maroko. Ya kori wanzamai. Ana ce masa guduma mai fasa ƙarya. Ni kuma na ce
DJ tsaya ka sa mana waƙa nan.
Wani yanzu mana yanzu ya zo.
Ina da magana.
Ina jin ka.
Ni abin da ya kawo ni gurin ku yawa ni abin da ya kawo ni gurin ku ina da wata yar bukata yar kankanuwa. Mune wa Allah maɗaukakin sarki godiya da inuna mana wato lashe wannan zaɓe da muka samu na shekara ta 2019 ko ba haka ba ne. Amma kafin zaɓe akwai 'yar matsala ɗaya wacce na ce zan same ku ku ne za ku shiga ku fita domin ku mai da min aure na.
Auren ka mutu ne?
Aure na ne mutu.
Garin ya auren ka ya mutu.
Na zo na samu amaryata na gaya mata cewar kar ta yi kunshi.
Ta yi?
Ta yi kunshi wallahi. Na sallame ta yi gida.
Ta kunshe ƙuri'a ta kenan.
Ta kunshe ƙuri'a ta.
Coach! To kaga ina shi wannan bawan Allah. DJ ba ni tukunna. Kana ji? Ina DJ ka sa min waƙar nan tukunna ta mai girma gwamna. Kuma abin da nake so. Ana zuwa kwanta da hankali ki hajiya. Ana zuwa tukunna.
Baba a rushe mana, mu baba a gyara mana, maza baba ka gyara mana, Malam Nasiru, ‘yan Rufa'i, guduma mai fasa karya. Yanzu Kaduna da aka yi dace maza ka yi je ka kare, Malam Nasiru, ‘yan Rufa'i, guduma mai fasa karya. Tun daga aikin Sardauna ba a aiki sai sanda ya dawo, Malam Nasiru, ‘yan Rufa'i, guduma mai fasa karya. Kai bana na ga su more da tuƙin motar sun samu kwarar. Malam Nasiru, ‘yan Rufa'i, guduma mai fasa karya. Sai aikin ake musu rata mutane ma na son mai. Malam Nasiru, ‘yan Rufa'i, guduma mai fasa karya. Da duk zaki ya haɗu da aiki to aikin sunan shugaban. Malam Nasiru, ‘yan Rufa'i, guduma mai fasa karya.
A'a ga ta zo. Ai ga hajiya ina sai ta tambaye ka. Me ka sato anan? Me ya sato? To rawa yake ina so mu dalla. Rawa yake ina wani zukudin.
Hajiya ta ce wani abu. Kiri-kiri fa saboda Allah, waccan jam'iyyar suka kira ni suka ba umman lida. An ba ni kuɗi, an ba mu makamai ni da yarana. An ba mu kuɗi kuma mun tada hankali. Kuma an ce za mu ci zaben nan. Tara aka ba mu kuɗin da kai ba haka. To kuma dan an ba mu na ci abin da na ci sai ki zo ki tona. Shugaban matasa aka baka na waccan jam'iyyar ko? Ni yanzu baba, ni sun ce amma musu da kuɗin.
Ina zuwa. Ai tso ina dattijo. Kai ga BNB. Ga BNB. Dan Allah ku dakata. Ga BNB ga mai girma gwamnan jihar Kaduna kuma ga wani da gasu da aka ce an aske gashin Kaduna. Da aka ce an yi aski a Kaduna.
Na ce zan yi aski idan Buhari ya ci zaɓe, ‘yan rufa ya ci zaɓe. Kuma sun ci zaɓe. Abin da ya sa ban yi askin ba, ina son mai girma gwamna ya yi hostin askin nan saboda na ga ya zama babban wanzami, sarkin wanzami domin ya aske wa Shehu Sani kai. Saboda haka shi zai fara dasa almakashi a kaina ya aske. Sai shi na'ibin sarkin wanzamai Uba Sani shi ma ya dasa daga nan sai a kira wanzami ya aske duka.
To shi fa wancan askin da aka yi wancan na Kaduna da kwalba aka yi masa, kai ma da kwalba za a yi maka?
A ni za a min adalci saboda ni dan APC ne sak.
To ga baba ga dan kasa dattijo ya haƙuri da Allah ga dan kasa.
Ai dole sama ya tsaya. Dole sama ya tsaya. Kuna ta wata magana, ni na bi ku sanin tsiya. Ni na bi ku sanin tsiya. Ba magana kuke akan wa?
Muna magana yanzu?
Nasiru
Erfa'i.
Ba haka bane? To idan kuka ce wato gwamnan jihar Kaduna, karamin su babban su, yar karamar ƙasa da arzikin man fetur. Idan kuka ce Nasiru Erfa'i ba ku ce dijiman Adamawa ba, sorry. Wala sorry. Ai ku ce dijiman Adamawa. Allah ya taya maka.
Wai ni nace ba, baka gan shi a daji ba?
Na gan shi a daji. Na gan shi sai da ya tattara ya suna su? Kidnapper. Ya tattara guda 40 ya yi nan. Ba taba ganin gwamna yana kubcewa securitinsa ba sai wannan ranar. Walai gudu yake yana rufa yana abu nan security suna riko shi yana kudu da ni.
Na gode dan kasa. Gafar ina baba. Baba Allahu akbar dattijo.
Wayo Allah na baba. An sha gwagwarmaya siyasa. Mun yi jinjina mun ƙara jinjina 'yan Rufa'i. Fari mai fara aniya. 'Yan ƙaramar ƙasa da arzikin man fetur. Abin da ya ƙara bani mamaki, shi tun 12 rana ya sanar da ya ci zaɓe. Ka san malaman abin da wai karuwa ta gama ta aure da tsohon ciki ta ce gama sai dan Allah.
Wallahi tallahi. Wani kuma ya ce lodin karfe Nasiru Erfa'i. Lodin karfe sai mai taya wani balan sai martini. Wancan inda da Allah ya haƙuri. Ga wannan akwai abin da zai faɗi. Duk wanda ya ce maka ya san Nasiru Erfa'i a gurin nan bayan wannan ne. Alƙur'an Allah da gaske nake. Saboda wannan tun yana ɗan kurcici na suke tare gaya mana.
Fiya kashe kwari sauro hana bacci dan mutanen zazzau.
Lodin karfe sai mai taya wani balas sai martini rafkannuwa mugunyar sallah gyaran ka sai cikakken liman.
Cikakken limami nan gwarawa suka buga da shi dole suka bar shi yayi aikin har yanzu ba a yi ministan da yayi aikin da yayi ba.
Kai wannan ka san shi wannan ka san shi zan ƙara gaba.
To duk abin da kuke faɗi ni na je kuma na fuskanta ni malam kwanan dan wasan Hausa. Da dahuwa da farfesu labarin wuta suke ji tsire shi ya ga zahiri. Malam Nasiru ‘yan Rufa'i, ai mai gaba ɗaya ne haihuwa da hanji. Kuna zancen aski, ya yi maganin bita da kulli, ya yi maganin shi wancan duka ba kama suna, ya yi sama an ce a radi ya dawo ƙasa an ce wale kiri, ya shiga ɗaki gobara ya fito waje yaƙi, yanzu ya zai Allah ya maganinsa. Saboda haka Nasiru ‘yan Rufa'i, kai ne zakaran gwajin dafi, kuma kai ne fiya kashe ƙwari. Allah ya taimake ka, Allah ya taimake aikinka.
A'a, la ilaha. Hajiya, to ai kai yaro ne ka bari Hajiya ta yi abin nan ta abin nan.
Ai kirarin ne da ake te masa kasan zubin da ni da shi ɗaya ne.
A'a, ban gane ba. Don Allah ku dakata. Ga wani ne ya zo ce wai zubin da shi ɗaya ne da kai dawa.
Malam Nasiru ‘yan Rufa'i.
Ya zubin yake.
Bari ka ji mana. Bari ka ji.
bar in gaya maka maris ɗin na ai da ni da shi muka tsaya muka kirkire ta ai ana ce masa dan umma kafu umma dabara mai dubin ilimi da ita shi ya shiga dajin nan in faɗa malam ko in yi shiru
ai mun gani kowa ma ya gani kowa ya gani kowa ne da gajere bai taka kunama ba ina hajja kai kidi wai buhun gero ne da kurda
yanzu abin da nake so ni dai yanzu waccan jam'iyya da aka ban umman lida a ciki jam'iyyar can an ban umman lida na rasa yadda zan yi ga makamai an ba mu ga sholi-sholi an raba matasa yanzu ya za a yi baro waccan jam'iyya da jam'iyyar APC.
If you're still joining us, you're still watching the Kannywood Victory Dinner in honor of President Muhammadu Buhari and his Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo. Like we said earlier, there are lots of important dignitaries present here. You can see on screen Governor of Kaduna State. Okay, you will see him on screen soon. Governor of Kaduna State, yeah, you can see him on screen. Malam Nasir El-Rufai. He looks relaxed. At the moment, prior to this time, there was an onstage drama in Hausa language, reiterating the unshakable support for the president.
Auntie Dada, you're welcome. Equally, Haja Umma, we have seen you. You're welcome, Haja Umma, seated closely to distinguished Senator Lado. I have on my list Mr. Mike from the Federal Polytechnic Ondo, Alaji Ibrahim Tukur El Sudi, APC Chair, Taraba State. You're welcome, sir. I have my colleague MC here. Okay. Haja Nana Gogong Yara. Please clap for her, ladies and gentlemen. We co-anchored Zara Buhari's wedding together. So you're welcome, Haja Nana, MC Nana. I call her MC Nana. May I invite Dan Musa Gombe once again to the stage for his own music, if you're ready, please. Atafa Masada Allah.
Masu faɗa da bata suna kuma bari domin kowa za ku bata malam ba. Ban kaura ta 'yan siyasa da nuna bangaranci ba za ya kada malam ba. Allah ya yi masa baiwa ina faɗi ba zan so ne a koshe malam ba. Yaya jahili ya koyar ana gani sannan ku a ce wai ba za a korai ba. Yayo bincike ya gano mafi yawanci ai ba malaman kwarai ne ba. To in malami bai san komai ba tarbiyyan 'ya'yanku ba a gyara ba. Cancanta ake ta duba in ka qualify to kai ba za ka daina aiki ba. To ai dole ne a ce a tantance malami ba fa kawai ya kama aiki ba. Dubi private schools in ka je ka gani su kan ba kara zube ne ba. To sai sun gwada su gani wannan fa ya cancanta ya zo ya fara koyarwa. To ya gwamnati tana gani sannan ko a ce wai ba za ta gyara ba. Malam Nasiru ka taso, ‘yan rufa'i gwamna na Kaduna za mu je wa. Ta kudan da ka takure ni, domin wasu kuna san duka ba su fahimci malam ba. Ya za ka yi gini a hanya, ka toshe layuka kuma ka ce ba za a rusa ba. Ta kula na an kawa Kaduna, duk layukansu an tsara ba kara zube ne ba. To tun zamanin Sardauna har yanzu tsarin kedi kun gaba a canza ba. To sai dai ana ta gyara kullum ana daɗe Kaduna tana ta ƙara gaba. Mai tafiya ka daina sauri ka dakata na ce don maganar gaba ta ƙarewa. Tauraron sama da haske da ka fito ka dishe fitilu ba za su haskawa. Zo zaki ka doshi fili ka tada gogowa suka ce ba su gane gunjin ba. Tsoro ya hana su komai to gara masu daina domin ba sa cire bawa. Shi ma dan fa bai da karfi amma ya ce fa kowa ai bai kai ya Allah ba. Malam Nasiru El Rufa'i maimaita Kaduna ta yarda. Ga Malam Nasiru El Rufa'i yarda maimaici da sa'i. Fito ga siniyo sannu malama ka raba gardama baba yan Kaduna a sai kira na suke sun ce mani wai na wake ka waga ta zarce ba gaba. Bismillah rabbana kaliki Allah kai kai hannun gaba kai kai maza da mata mu aura Allah har muna zaba Allah kai yau dubul salati bun annabi maganin gaba sanyo a halai sahabbai da annabi mun san ba su yin gaba Allah ka tsare ni sharrin magauta ana ban zo da aibi ba mai da musu kansu ya gaba. Sallama a gare ku al'umma to dan Musa gagare gani ko da wasu sun kira ni ba ko na san wasu za su gane ni duk da ma dai na ji wasu suna cewa wai jahili ne ni amma bai hankali in ya so ya fahimta za ya gane ni domin ai jahili bangare na karatu bai karamba ni masani kuma bai zafi ba. Sarari bai maganin matsi ai tafiyar bana babu kokawa raba gardama kai kadai gayya ga makiya sun kasa ganewa sawun gewa daban da na kaza mun san babu musawa littafi idan karatu ake wasu ko sun kasa ganewa ba wai a aje a daki ba. Yanzu ga ka a next level malam saura kuma
hai. Thank you very much. Well, at about time we invite Alaja Auta. If you're ready, may we bring you off stage for your own performance. Do Allah, atafa musu do Allah. Dr. Sarari muna maka lale marhaban barka da isowa. Doctor, you're welcome. Thank you, please.
Kurumus mummas umurus. Kurumus mummas umurus nat. Ruwa ruwa gwamna ruwa. Malam Nasiru El Rufa'i gwamna. Ruwa ruwa gwamna. Ruwa ruwa. Wuta wuta gwamna. Wuta wuta. Gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i. Gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i gwamna. Mai rusau ba wasan gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i. Masani yana cikin gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i. Masani yana cikin gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i. Sanata na gobe yana gidan gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i. Masani dole da tambarin gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i. Gidan Malam sai ya gwamnatin Malam El Rufa'i.
To muna godiya lokaci ne da muke sake jinjina kuma muna sake gaya wannan mutane ilahirin al'umma cikin wannan guri cewa wannan sha'ani ana yin sa ne kai tsaye a gidan talabijin na NTA ta ƙasa baki ɗaya. Lokaci ne da kuma nake sanar da wannan gida cewa matar shugaban ƙasa wato babarmu Hajiya Aisha tu Muhammadu Buhari bata iso nan da kanta ba amma ta aiko ɗan uwa ƙani shaƙiƙi wato da Juman Adamawa Alhaji Musa Halilu ya wakilce ta ta kuma nuna goyon bayanta da ba da gudunmawa da duk abin da ya dace ga abin da yake faruwa a wannan guri don Allah mai mata jinjina na musamman. Jujuma. A lokaci ne da zan kirawo Alhaji Usman ya hayo wannan dandamali domin shi ma ya baje mana hajarsa. Usman, if you're ready, please.
Karfan jirgin garin mai fada da cikawa gwanin malam Nasir jarumin wanda ke damun damuwar mu ya fatattaki duka matsalar mu rufa'i mai san ci gaban mu baka ke ka zama garkuwar mu matsatsi a turba sabon fannin tsaro malam ka zama fitilar zake mai fasa gangamin magauta shi gare mu je gwamna ka zama rayuwar mu ida masauki sabo ka taba mai kwantar da kai Nasir hasken rayuwar mu kawai suka ke in ka zo sai dai ayi lallami malam hanyar sitirar mu bayarwa da daɗawa bai gajiya ko kadan malam hanyar samun kuɗin mu malam Nasir Ahmad mai bada abinci kaji gwamna bai da aibugun mu mai baka gida har da mota ya kai ka Saudiya don ziyarar annabin sha kundin sha kiran mu tarnaki garnakakin garin mu mai mata da mazajen garin mai yara har manyan garin kai ke da zaurawan garin kai ke da matasan cikin garin kai ke da tsofaffin garin iya margan dutse ke Nasir Rufai
Muna godiya Alhaji Usman Aliyu mai unguwar Mandawari ranka takaf yana nan tare da mu muna masa jinjina kamun mu yi gabatarwa na musamman don Allah a tafa masa don Allah a lokaci ne da muke kiran 'yan grup ɗin dalili na su iso wannan dandamali domin gabatar da tasu Abbas Sadiq, we have seen you with an MC for excellence. We say you're welcome, Alhaji Abbas Sadiq. Distinguished NSM guests, we have a troupe that sing a song, Delilina. If you're ready, very quickly, may I so invite you to make your own presentation, please. Don Allah ya musu jinjina a tafa musu, kuma wannan guri, insha Rahman, mai girma mataimakin shugaban ƙasa, Professor Yemi Bajo, ya kusa isowa wannan guri muna ta tsamayarsa ba tare da dadewa ba insha Rahman yana isowa wannan guri za mu ci gaba da abin da yake jadawalin wannan taro ina sake kira ga group din dalili na sai iso wannan guri don Allah domin gabatar da abin da ya kawo mu wannan guri ko abin da ya kawo su in kun shirya sai mai kira a gare ku iso wannan guri don Allah. Alhaji Ali Nuhu yana tare da mu. You're welcome, senior man. You're welcome, senior man. Daniel Amokachi, I've learned you are now a scout. You scout footballers. And I want to ask you indulgence. Sorry? He's a coach. Wow. He's a coach, and I know him before today. He used to play for Badarawa United before he graduated to other clubs. Mr. Amokachi, it has been my dream, lifetime dream, to be a footballer. And as I am today, I never throw away, I never despair. I'm still aspiring to becoming an international footballer. After this program, I will come to you, sit down with you, so that we see to the possibility of seeing MC Big Boy playing for the Nigerian national team. Clap for me, ladies and gentlemen, please. I want you to say amen. We say with God, everything is one. Everything is one. Don't be surprised that you see me playing for one of the finest clubs in the world. Who may know Barcelona, Real Madrid? I love to play for one of those clubs. And say amen once again, please. Distinguished NSM guests, Dalilina are coming. May we give them a warm round of applause as they are stepping outside to make their own presentation. Do Allah mutafa wa group din Dalilina ga sunan fisowa waje su hayo wannan dandamali domin gabatar da nasu wato baje mana taja hajar. Muna kira a gare ku do Allah ku hayo wannan guri. Muna tsamayar ku, Your Excellency, His Excellency na nan da sauran al'umma suna nan tare da mu. Akwai Alhaji Nasiru Dano, Chairman NHD Interbees, Chairman Teresa, and of course, a personality that is doing well. Your Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, I will wish you that you thank these personalities, Alhaji Nasiru Dano, Alhaji Jujuman Adamawa. They have been doing wonderfully well to this industry. We thank you most sincerely for that gesture you are doing us. Distinguished Senator-elect, we say you are welcome. Distinguished Senator Lado, to all of you, we say congratulations, congratulations. Dalili, now if you're ready, may I so swing the mic to you for your own part of it.
You are still watching the Kennywood Entertainment Industry Victory Dinner, coming to you live from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. We are still expecting the arrival of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on whose instance this event is being held.
Dalilina bazan je ga mahallaka ba dalilina bazan yarda da yaudara ba dalilina bazan tura mahallama ba dalilina dalilina kasata na fi girmamawa dalilina bazan je ga mahallaka ba dalilina bazan yarda da yaudara ba dalilina bazan tura mahandama ba dalilina Buhari za mu zaba a 019 muna kira sai baba Buhari dalilina noma da yadda mu arewa dalilina mun yi noman bisiyarwa dalilina ko ci ko muna fitarwa dalilina talakawan mu suna ta yalwa dalilina da an ce mu yi shi muna habawa dalilina wai tallafi ko takurawa dalilina yanzu ribar sa muke ganowa dalilina mata maza duka mun rikewa dalilina yan arewa da riga ta arewa dalilina kasa ta na fi girmamawa dalilina bazan je ga mahallaka ba dalilina bazan yarda da yaudara ba dalilina bazan tura mahandama ba dalilina
yanzu al'akawun ɗaya bali bace rufe boda a baya ga wasu sai muna duba yanzu muna gane dalili ashe da ta ci barkatai ake mata muna duba yanzu muna gane dalili ashe da gida ci gaban ƙasa a kai da haka muna duba yanzu muna gane dalili miyagun kwayoyi safarar su ake ta haka muna duba yanzu muna gane dalili makamai ma'ana shigo da su kasar ta haka muna duba yanzu muna gane dalili a Buhari da lissafi baba mai hangen nesa tuni ya hango wannan yasa a filan ɗinsa masu jari hujja kawai suke yakar wannan muna duba yanzu muna gane dalili na kudu wannan shi ne dalili na ba zan je gaba hallaka ba dalili na ba zan yarda da yaudara ba dalili na ba zan tura mahallama ba dalili na Buhari za mu zaɓa a O19 muna kira sai baba Buhari ma da kardaka ta haɗu da ni na sanar da mata shekar daga zancen da nake a yanzu ilimi ya haɓaka makarantu an gina kai miza na daɗa maka ka zama sarki Buhari kai dai sa ai maka na so a bar ni tambura in ta buga maka ka zama damuna mugunta baka haka zamani mai tafi da kowa ba in tafi wani na ba zan wuce ba ni dai sai na faɗi farfesa Umar Garba dan wadda nake nufi NCC bus amanar an je ko ya tafi dalili na kayi kokarin toshe farrar dalili na kai ka ba wa al'umma ayyuka dalili na kai ka duba noma an karkata dalili na kai ka hannasa ta kamar haka dalili na ka mayar da ƙauyuka birnin dalili na kai ka so samu mana martaba har zana zaba ban yarda da makintata dalili na railway tana zaga kasa dalili na nesa yanzu ta zama kusa dalili na za a samu sauki a kasa dalili na sufuri da sauki a kasa dalili na titunan masu kama kasa dalili na wutar lantarki ta haska kasa dalili na baba shi yake saita kasa dalili na yanzu babu tamkar shi kasa dalili na kun daɗe muna tauna kasa dalili na yanzu ban ga canji a kasa baba za mu sake baba dalili na next level dalili na zan je kwaɗayin dalawa dalili na ba zan je gun yaudarawa dalili na ba zan tallata wawurawa dalili na ba zan bi kuɗi na sani ba dalili na har zana zaba ban yarda da makintatawa dalili na kun ji wannan shi ne dalili na ba zan je ga mahallakawa
To muna godiya, muna godiya, muna godiya. Your Excellencies, alhamdulillahi, iyayenmu dai suna tare da mu, Professor Dambata, muna ta godiya. Mr. Jack Rich, we thank you most sincerely. That magnanimous gesture is properly acknowledged and recognized. Alhaji Abdulaziz Iradua, Mr. Olujeron Olusegun Obasanjo, Alhaji Haruna A. Madiska, Sayos, welcome. You're welcome, Alhaji Haruna. Thank you very much. At about time, I bring some ladies on stage. First, I have Haja Halima Atete, Haja Mariam Yahaya, Haja Fatih Shuma, Haja Sadia Kabala, Haja Asma Unas, Haja Mariam Booth, Haja Ruqayya da Waya, Haja Hawa Waraka. They are on stage, and any moment from now, distinguished guests, I've been informed that our dear father is here and about to be ushering any moment from now. He is to be here any moment from now. Forget about the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Are you ready? This Jackie, over to you, please.
Akwai saura lokacin ka zo don yawa. Akwai sauran ga Buhari ga Osinbajo. Akwai saura populous ko zaɓen mu ta zarce. Akwai saura lokacin kuɗin Allah ya yi. Ƙasa ta na san ka ja mu je daidai tijo. Ka yo mai lamuran ka ni kawo
Once again, you are still watching the Kannywood Entertainment Industry Victory Dinner, coming to you live from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. At 9 p.m., we will be joining the news studio for Weekend File. Stay with us.
educate Nigerian children is a task that must be accomplished. But how has it been with the efforts aimed at achieving this objective? And that's where we anchor today's edition of Weekend File. Good evening and welcome to the program. The Universal Basic Education Program was introduced by the federal government in 1999 to reduce the level of illiteracy, accelerate national development, and improve standard of education. Basic Education Program, in line with national policy on education, covers formal compulsory schooling consisting of 6 years of elementary and 3 years of junior secondary education, culminating in 9 years of uninterrupted schooling. There has been an appreciable improvement in basic education program since it started, but it has been marginal considering its span of almost 2 decades. That's according to some experts, by the way. They also cited the fact that in 2015, Nigeria ranked 103 out of 118 countries in UNESCO's Education for All Development Index, which takes into account universal primary education and gender parity. Currently, Nigeria possesses the largest population of out-of-school children, and that is largely blamed on perceived challenges facing universal basic education program, namely lack of adequate funding, misappropriation of available funds, lack of trained personnel, and poor planning. These challenges, no doubt, stand against fulfilling the UBE's objective and purpose. Tonight, we'll put all of this into perspective as Weekend File interrogates the Universal Basic Education Program and development of primary education in Nigeria. Thank you for choosing to stay with us tonight on the show. My name is Kirian Umayo, and this is Weekend File, where we tackle national issues. First, and now the news. We begin with this story. President Muhammadu Buhari says, in this digital age where physical borders no longer exist, to protect even the most secured cooperation amongst several sovereign nations is no longer a choice but absolute necessity. He said the only way to overcome what he calls predatory and divisionary forces is for all well-meaning nations to work together for greater good of humanity. The president said this while addressing the World Economic Forum on Middle East and North Africa on the shores of the Dead Sea in Jordan. State House correspondent Adam Sambo has that report.
The Arab world, comprising the Middle East and North Africa, is a region of two contrasting systems that feature a dynamic private sector as well as a bloated public sector, with economies that are both opened and close-controlled, thereby facing a mixed reality of wealth sitting side by side with poverty.
Hello, bonjour, hola, ni hao.
This economic forum, entitled Building New Platforms of Cooperation, is therefore aimed at charting the best way forward towards achieving economic growth and job creation, entrepreneurship and innovation, as well as environmental management in the greater interest of the nearly 400 million people in the region.
Remember that what you achieve together will be vital to the future we all share.
And I am deeply convinced that there is no other way to deal with global challenges than with a smart, evidence-based global response organized in a multilateral way to benefit all.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who is a special guest of honor at the event, said there is no region now feeling the full impact of the significant shifts the world is now experiencing on many fronts, like the Middle East and Africa. He said while the region is experiencing the highest growth rates in the world, it is unfortunately playing host to some of the deadliest conflicts in recent history, occasioned by terrorism and insurgency.
We must ask ourselves how we, as a region, got to this point. I strongly believe that the lack of socio-economic inclusion was the root cause of many challenges we are experiencing. In this new world without borders, my personal view is stability and sustainability can only be achieved through inclusive economic growth and enhanced cooperation among nations.
Africa and the Middle East, the president also emphasized must focus on policies that will deliver shared economic prosperity for all their citizens. He said with the available resources, the people and markets, more can be done, especially on trade and investment.
We are determined to industrialize Nigeria, leveraging our comparative advantage. The Middle East is a natural partner. Our new inclusive and diversified Nigeria is definitely open to business. We must identify how we can work together.
President Buhari said, as friends and allies, countries in the region must not only cooperate and leverage on their relative strengths, but remain open to building new platforms of cooperation. Over 1,000 leaders of government, business, civil society, faith, and academia from over 50 countries are participating at the forum, expected to end on Sunday. From the shores of the Dead Sea in Jordan, about 400 meters below sea level, this is Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Thank you, Adamu. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's appreciation to the Kingdom of Jordan for genuinely supporting efforts in fighting terrorism and insurgency in the country, saying the investment in the nation's peace and security will always be remembered. The president has said this at a bilateral engagement with the Jordanian King Abdullah bin Al Hussein on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum at the Dead Sea. State House correspondent Adam Sambo again reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari said the international support Nigeria received, particularly from Jordan, showed commitment to making the world a more harmonious and peaceful place where people can live and pursue their interests without fear. He said with such support and encouragement, the country has made significant progress in the fight against Boko Haram, as all the territories under their control before his coming to power have been recaptured and thousands held against their will liberated. The president, however, made a case for Nigeria and Jordan to strengthen trade relations by exploring areas of competitive advantage for the benefit of the two countries and their peoples. King Abdullah of Jordan said his country will continue to support Nigeria with the needed hardware towards ensuring that the global war against terrorism is successfully prosecuted. He said the long-term bilateral relations between both countries will be strengthened through innovative ideas that will benefit their citizens. President Buhari also met with the Minister of Energy, Industry and Mineral Resources of Saudi Arabia, Khalid Al-Fali, assuring him that Nigeria remains committed to the terms of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, especially on the quota system. The Saudi Arabian minister, who congratulated the president on his re-election for a second term in office, delivered to him a special message from the Saudi monarch, King Salman.
Saudi Arabia is willing to have a very, very good cooperation with Nigeria in both infrastructure development, oil refining, and agriculture. And they have extended an invitation to Mr. President to visit Saudi Arabia with his team to look at the details of all this. And I believe it's very important, and they are very serious about it.
President Buhari is expected to proceed to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, on Sunday. From the Dead Sea, Jordan, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has reassured Nigerians that ending banditry remains a key priority of his administration, and he will do whatever it takes to ensure the country's security system confronts these public enemies with merciless determination. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, while reacting to the recent escalation of banditry and kidnappings in some parts of the country. President Buhari, while condoling with all those affected by the unfortunate events, described himself as one of the unhappiest leaders in the world. President Buhari added that he understands the pains of the victims and their families who have been traumatized and impoverished by constant ransom demands by bandits. The president also emphasized that protecting the citizens of the country is one of the primary functions of his administration, and have ordered rapid and robust deployment of troops to all the areas currently under attack from the bandits. President Buhari called on communities where banditry is active to support and cooperate with the security agencies, particularly the recently launched Operation Poor Father to battle bandits and kidnappers. He appealed to communities to report suspicious movements of the bandits into their areas, considering the fact that intelligence is critical to detecting, frustrating, neutralizing, and defeating the criminals. In other security issue, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has neutralized some Islamic State of West African province terrorists at Tumbun Alpha, a small settlement about 4 kilometers west of Tumbun Alura on the fringes of Lake Chad in the northern part of Borno State. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, says the airstrikes were conducted on 5th of April 2019 on the heels of credible intelligence reports indicating that some IWAP leaders and members had assembled for a meeting under a group of trees near a prominent makeshift structure within the settlement. Accordingly, the Air Task Force scrambled a NAF Alpha jet to attack the location. The bombs from the aircraft recorded hits on the target areas, resulting to significant damage to surrounding structures, with a large fire observed and several of the terrorists neutralized. The NAF, operating in synergy with ground forces, will sustain its operations against the terrorists in the northeast of Nigeria. And now, the ongoing transformation of a foreign mission has necessitated the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs to seek for an increase in its 2019 budget proposal. Now, defending the budget estimate of the ministry before the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, the Permanent Secretary, Mustafa Suleiman, says the move is to enable the country equip its foreign missions effectively. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu has the report.
Documents on the 2018 budget expenditure by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed that 86% capital release was made to the main ministry, while its agencies received 60% of the funds, with 70% being overhead. Level of implementation of the budget, according to the Permanent Secretary, stands at 65%, and that of the agencies at 20%, calling for more legislative support to strengthen the country's foreign missions.
There is a reduction of 9,688 million, which is as a result of the sharp cut in the capital budget for 2019.
For the sake of Nigerians, just bring it, then we put that into consideration.
Chairman, National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed, also defended the Commission's 2019 budget proposal, calling on the senators to ensure interagency collaboration in the aviation industry and the provision of safety facilities at various departure points in order to improve confidence and security of the pilgrims.
We had instances where innocent people get drugs built into their luggage unknown to them.
Meanwhile, 3 ambassadorial nominees were screened by the committee. The nominees responded to questions on efforts they will put in projecting the image of the country abroad. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
To effectively implement the federal government's industrialization drive, the Federal Ministry of Industry plans to introduce some strategic pillars to facilitate the actualization of the dream. This was part of the submissions by the ministry at a budget defense before the Senate Committee on Industry. National Assembly correspondent Aminu Abdullahi reports.
7,961 million naira capital release was made to the Federal Ministry of Industry in 2018, representing 41% of the 19.4 billion naira capital appropriation. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Edet Akpan, told the senators that being the ministry that has the responsibility of providing the enabling environment for investors, increased budgetary allocation will help in that regard. The ministry's 2019 budget proposal stands at 11 billion naira, while the National Automotive Design and Development budget focuses on engaging experts in skill acquisition and training young Nigerians.
Is geared towards further repositioning and consolidating the gains already achieved in revamping the nation's economy for sustained growth and development.
We're in the process of training 3,200 youth across the country in mechatronics so that these Nigerian youth will better understand these new types of technologies.
Whatever we have told you now is not the end. As it's going through this and we're making other observations, we must bring them to your notice so that you will furnish us with those information.
Meanwhile, Managing Director, Federal Housing Authority, Professor Muhammad Al-Amin, seeks increase in 2019 budget estimate and possible legislative backing for actualization of the federal government's mass housing project at affordable price.
2018 had been a very busy year for us, and we were able to close all the targets that we have put for ourselves, and we are getting results.
We have had great improvements in the activities of the Federal Housing Authority due to your participation in the National Mass Housing Program.
The senators appreciated the agency's target towards addressing the country's housing deficit by acquiring 800 hectares of land in the Federal Capital Territory and other programs. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Now, ahead of the 2019 World Health Day in Nigeria, an awareness walk around major streets in Abuja has been held, organized by the World Health Organization in Nigeria. It was joined by partners in World Health Organizations in the country and health correspondents. The theme of this year's celebration is universal health coverage, everyone, everywhere. It is aimed at ensuring that everyone obtains the care they need when they need it, right in the heart of the society.
The World Health Day falls on 7th of April every year, and here in Nigeria we decided to commemorate it with a walk starting today at 6th, and then to crown it up by the Minister of Health with a press briefing that will take place on 8th.
Okay, what's the significance of this annual celebration?
And the significance is that it is used every year with a different theme to promote the holistic nature of health.
Basi Taiban reports that the day, which is celebrated every 7th of April, also marks the anniversary of World Health Organization. Now, ahead of the... Now to the next story. The Buhari Media Organization has described the silence by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the PDP's claim to have had access to each server, as worrisome and frightening. In a statement signed by Niyo Akinsoju and Cassidy Madueke, the group noted that the claim by the PDP was too grave, a criminal confession for INEC to ignore. The BMO noted that silence by INEC is not golden, hence the need for urgent action to clear all doubts. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari sends warm greetings to Mr. Waheed Olagunju, former acting managing director of Bank of Industry Limited and executive director of Small and Medium Enterprises, on his 60th birthday. A statement by the special advisor to the president, media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president celebrates with all family members, friends and associates of Olagunju while congratulating him for always making himself available for service to the nation and humanity, which is certainly motivated by his fear of God and sense of patriotism. As Olagunju turned 60, the president prays that the Almighty God will grant him long life, good health, and strength to continue serving the country. Muslim leaders in the country have been urged not to relent in calling on their followers to always be law-abiding and tolerant for the development of the Ummah and the country in general. The FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello said this while representing President Muhammadu Buhari at the 43rd Maulud of Sheikh Ibrahim at National Stadium, Abuja. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has the report.
The Maulud is to commemorate the birth of Sheikh Ibrahim Inyas, a great Senegalese Islamic scholar who propagated the religion of Islam in the entire West Africa and beyond. The Sheikh, who took after another Islamic scholar from the same Senegal, Sheikh Ahmad Tijani, the founder of Tijaniya movement, has over 60 million followers in Nigeria alone. The FCT minister called on Islamic leaders to leverage on the numerical strength of the followers to always preach for a better society. Musa Bello said the Sheikh virtues must be emulated, especially in the area of education, for the development of the intellectual capacity of the Ummah. The Maulud was attended by different foreign nationals. Sheikh Ibrahim Inyas is so revered by his followers who pay visits to his tomb from time to time in Kaolaha, Senegal, as a mark of honor. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Islamic faithful converged on the ancient city of Kano to celebrate the birth of Sheikh Ahmad Tijani, a renowned Islamic cleric and founder of a Tijaniya movement in West Africa. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
Traffic gridlock is a common phenomenon in Kano, being a commercial hub and most populous state in Nigeria. However, the coming of followers of Tijaniya movement from all parts of the country deteriorates the situation. All roads leading to Sani Abacha Stadium, their meeting point, became impassable due to human and vehicular traffic. The gathering was to commemorate the birth of the 20th century revered scholar and leader of Tijaniya movement, Sheikh Ibrahim Inyas. Prominent scholars from Nigeria, Senegal, and Morocco presented lectures on the life and time of the Senegalese scholar and his contribution to the propagation of Islam and principles of Tijaniya Sufi order. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje commended the peaceful conduct of Tijaniya followers and their role in the education and development of the country. Other speakers were Emir Muhammad Sanusi II, member of the House of Representatives-elect Abdurrahman Kawu Sumaila, who delivered a message of goodwill from President Muhammadu Buhari. Sheikh Ibrahim Inyas was born in the year 1900, died in 1975. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
You are watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA, and today we are dealing with the Universal Basic Education Program and development of primary education, the foundational level of all other education. We will learn more from our correspondent's report after the break.
Marketing of broadcast media products requires special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College Jos is therefore organizing an intensive 3-week course on modern trends in broadcast media marketing. The course will equip participants with necessary skills to deal with contemporary marketing challenges and competition in the broadcast media. It is an essential course for marketers in the broadcast media to sharpen their skills and improve their capacities. Date, 23rd April to 10th May 2019. Venue, NTA Television College Refuge Jos. Course fee, 100,000 Naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please contact us on 0803 314 4383 or 0806 980 9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
We thank you for staying with us on the program. And now we begin. As part of the efforts to revitalize primary school and teacher education in Edo, Delta, and the Ekiti states, the various governments are carrying out massive reforms. These reforms include the introduction of new teaching models intended to strengthen infrastructure in the respective states. Ayodeji Odebwa reports. Well, that report is not yet ready. Now, efforts by Kano State government to address the issue of enrollment in primary schools have continued to defy solutions as the state is leading in the area of out-of-school children. However, this did not deter authorities in adopting various strategies to change the narrative. Fatima Sanusi Karaye reports that girl child education suffered the most devastating effect, with 60% of the total figure of those who lack access to primary education in the state.
Kano State is among the states with high number of out-of-school children. Statistics available reveal that over 3 million children between the ages of 6 and 16 are out of school, and that number is expected to double by 2020 if stringent measures are not put in place. What is more worrisome is that 60% of the total number of out-of-school children are girls. 10-year-old Fidausi is among millions of out-of-school children who travels 30 to 40 kilometers daily to sell granules, constantly in danger of being abused and endangering her life on streets.
But government is addressing the issue through so many ways. For instance, government has created or established education promotion committees in all the 44 local government areas of the state with a view to engendering community participation, because education for all is the responsibility of all.
At Rumawa community, one of the oldest settlements in Kano, with about 15,000 people, this community has no access to the universal basic education, despite its proximity to the metropolis. But the community came together and built a school out of stalls and sticks. What is amazing here is the level of enrollment and eagerness to learn by these children. While the Rumawa community continue to push for their rights, Fidausi and millions like her who are deprived access to education on account of their indigent background may continue to live on streets. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karaye, NTA News.
Now, to provide qualitative education, particularly in the primary level, a robust infrastructural development and provision of up-to-date learning aids are very crucial. Jane Ojukwu examines the state of primary school infrastructure in Lagos and now reports.
Key to capacity building of individuals for self-reliance and national development. Against this backdrop, the foundation, which is the primary school level, is the most crucial as it sets the tone for pupils to acquire the necessary footing upon which their academic aspirations depend. Due to the necessity of basic education, it is imperative that the standard must not be compromised in terms of quality. This throws up the question, what is the state of infrastructure in some of the schools in Lagos?
In my own community, the primary school there are good, and the government are really trying. They are renovating some classes that is bad.
Lagos State government should look into the instructions and the way they build those primary schools so that they can improve it more.
When I went to the primary school, I was attracted by the infrastructure. The infrastructure was great. My primary school has a library. My primary school has a nature study center. And that's why I said that we need to build the primary school infrastructure. We have to ensure that the state and local government that are responsible for the primary schools, that they do their job.
And there is a need to lay very solid foundation at the primary school level, because really a lot of your education that you get actually starts from that primary school. If the primary education is wobbly, then it becomes problematic when the person gets to secondary school and eventually to the university.
How has Lagos State, under whose purview the primary education falls, fared in ensuring that its public primary schools are adequately equipped to provide qualitative education?
We will continue to increase our budgetary allocation to education and health, because those are the critical sectors that we also need to look at. Of course, beyond infrastructure and all of it.
NTA News visited the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, but its chairman, Mr. Gani Osokbenyi, declined comments. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
And now we take you back to Benin, where Ayodejo Dewa says reforms are taking place in Edo, Delta, and Ekiti states.
Edo State, apart from infrastructural development, institutional reforms, they are also providing educational materials to the teachers to enhance competence.
The structuring process is to have a single level of education, and we have different campuses. Then those of them who fit into the different campuses would be absorbed in them, while those who are qualified to remain in the university will be retained by the entire University.
They need things like visual, things that they can see, visual aids. Like the internet, they need the computer training. Then the one that bothers me most is that of a higher institution. The amenities are not enough. That's why you find out that lecturers are always going on strike.
Government is trying, and we also want them to try harder.
Also in Ekiti State, Kehinde Durodola reports that in order to revitalize education and realize the objective of the Universal Basic Education Program, quality teacher education, talent discovery, and vocational training should be emphasized. He says this is the consensus of key players in the industry.
If vocational and technical education are inculcated into our curriculum, I'm sure it can reduce the level of dropouts. We need competent teachers. We need good equipment for this to function well in the schools.
And from Delta State, Kirsten Peters reports that the government of Delta State is keeping faith with the program to ensure the functionality and sustainability of the program.
Delta State, we have a very strong synergy with UBEC, Abuja, through our State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB. To this end, we have made sure that our counterpart fundings are up to date.
There should be constant in-service training for the UBE teachers.
In Benin, Adogbeji Ojegba, NTA News.
There is significant increase in schools enrollment in Borno State, especially that of girl child, as Universal Basic Education Board in 2018-2019 academic year registered over 200,000 pupils in public schools across the state. There is no doubt that this is the result of improved security situation and quantum of intervention programs in the education sector, having suffered great setback in the years of insurgency. Naomi Boako reports.
Education is among the worst hit sectors in Borno State, where components of basic teaching and learning centers were affected, with teachers killed or threatened to abandon classes. Today, distressed structures have been renovated and new ones constructed, in addition to provision of over 30 ultramodern schools established by Borno State government through the UBE intervention program of the federal government. This has tremendously increased school enrollment and retention of pupils and students, while the mega schools are ready for commencement of service.
Enrollment into these mega schools, 60 for the girls and 40% for the boys in terms of enrollment into the new mega schools. And then we also provide platform for the IDPs to have education.
Universal Basic Education Borno has recorded huge successes in providing an every environment and quality education to pupils and students, owing to the state government's ability to settle up to date its counter-funding.
Borno State, virtually in a state of war, we are able to access our own matching grant.
Initiatives such as the State Education Program Investment Project funded by the World Bank was put in place to complement effort of government in ensuring standard of education is maintained through provision of instructional materials and training teachers across the state.
We have about 33 JSS, that UBE schools, junior day secondary school, and we have 39 primary school. In all the schools, our government they are doing their best.
In Maiduguri, Naomi Abuku, NTA News.
Thank you, Naomi. And now in the next segment of the program, we'll be engaging our guests for the issues on the Universal Basic Education Program. Do stay with us.
Oga, open your fuel tank.
Hold on, please. Let me calm down.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Hope you've rubbed off your meter.
Oh, Oga, we no longer tamper with our fuel dispense meter because it is cheating and corruption. I will always sell fuel to all customers at the correct amount because change begins with me.
Nice one.
Yes, sir. How much, Oga?
Fill up.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
And joining me now in the studio for the discussion segment of the program is Sylvester Onoja. He's an educationist, former principal, King's College, Lagos, and former Commissioner of Education, Kogi State, and one-time director at the Federal Ministry of Education. So you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
It's been a while because I know I've had you on this show some time ago, and it's good to have you back again.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
let's begin by asking you to tell Nigerians the place of primary education in the development of education in general in Nigeria.
Well, anywhere in the world, primary education is the foundation of education. That's where you lay the foundation for the development of the human being. So, is critical. And since primary education was introduced in Nigeria in 1843, that was the first primary education in Nigeria. St. Andrew's School, Badagry, was the first one. Of course, there was the Hope Waddell Institute in 1841 that actually was only a domestic training center. So real primary school started in 1843 in Nigeria. And since then, education has been moving forward. And unfortunately, is now being bastardized. Education is supposed to be the foundation. You talk about infrastructure. The most important infrastructure in life is the infrastructure of the mind. That's where it starts. So are we laying the infrastructure of the mind on the young ones so that we can start well? Yeah. That is what is important.
All right, now, in pursuit of the philosophy behind primary education, I recall vividly that in the 70s, UPE was introduced. Right, and again in 1999, UBE came on board, that's University Basic Education, just to address the issue of that foundational education in Nigeria. Now, how has the primary education fared, in your opinion, having been in the educational sector for over 35 years or more?
Well, the story of education in Nigeria, and particularly the story of education from 1960 to date, it's most unfortunate in terms of planning and execution. Because the right people have not been in charge of education, there has been no proper planning. The British left a wonderful plan for education. And you talked about the UPE. UPE was excellent planning under Yakubu Gowon. And that was the last plan we really had for education in 1975, when, it was poorly executed. But the plan was solid. It was supposed to produce teachers. Unfortunately, all sorts of people who were not intended to be teachers came in. And that was the beginning of the problem that we have had with primary education. The people who were taught under the UPE were actually not quite prepared to teach. And like we say, all crash programs produce crash results. And the UPE program produced crash results in this country. And that is why we are where we are. We missed it from then, and we have not gotten it right.
But one would have thought that having missed it then, that UBE, came back, with the new blood that ought to have been injected into the education system, especially at that level of education. In your view, what did UBE do? What did it do, since 1999 till now? If you have been observing the activities of UBE with respect to primary education in Nigeria.
UBE was very well intended. UBE had a beautiful program. The problem was with execution. Not properly executed. And that's what we have with a lot of planning for education in this country, is that the problem of execution. The best men are not there to execute. The most available people have been brought into the system. So it's been well planned. But what are the level of execution? That is the problem that we have.
Now, let's put this planning into perspective. What kind of planning are you talking about? Is it in terms of executing programs? Because invariably, if you want to up the ante in terms of primary education, what comes to mind is infrastructure. The school has to be there. There has to be other facilities for teaching, and all that. So what, in your view, was not really done? Because when you say it was not planned and all of that, but there's a plan going on, but is that the plan is not efficacious or something?
Well, there are two things in education. You either establish schools or you cite schools. Politics came into it. And instead of establishing schools, we started citing schools. What is the difference between citing schools and establishing schools? When you establish a school, it's like planting a flower. You water it, you nurture it. But when you have to cite for political reasons, because of the support that you have, schools that are cited are hardly ever funded. And they are not well-intentioned. They are not planned. And so what happened with the UP was that, well, good intention. But what about the teachers for the UPE program? What about the other people that were supposed to take charge of executing this and making sure that we have a valid and properly produced product? We didn't have them. Because there used to be, in the 70s, a course called education planning. It's no longer there. The people who are dedicated, who are committed to doing this, are no longer there. I'll take you back in history. You see, in 1960, when Nigeria was about to become independent, the British colonial government was in charge of education. But what they did, when they knew that politics was coming into it, there was Ajanwa Chukwu was the Minister of Education from 1958 to 1965. In 1958, the British government appointed an educationist, a former principal of King's College, Mr. Gerald Bonton, as the federal advisor on education, so that he will have an input into how education is executed. Because they know that the professionals, the politicians that were coming, don't know anything about education, how to do it. But today, it's not a problem. That is the problem. We don't have people who are following up on execution. So the problem, the beautiful plans we have, is about execution. For example, you talk about the UB. Now, planning at the level of primary education or basic education in this country is supposed to be free and compulsory. Why are you talking about people out of school when there's a law that it is compulsory? Where is the political will? Why do we have so many people out of school? when there is a law that says it's compulsory? Where is it? Who is executing? Who is enforcing it? No, those things are not there. That's why we have the problem. Execution is our problem.
Okay, but because what we've read in recent times is that funding, lack of funding, and then misappropriation of available funds, then lack of quality teachers to teach in those schools. Now, when you talked about compulsory education, my mind just went to a video that went viral, sometime last week or 2 weeks ago, and that of Success Agebo, the little girl whose doggedness, led Nigeria into knowing that even the school where she is, have no reasonable infrastructure and all of that, and one begins to think about infrastructure and the need to have one. Sir, could you just let us know how best to approach the program? Because the program is in existence for now, and what is left undone is how to make use of what is the master plan to see how we can accomplish the objective of ensuring that all Nigerian children are back to school, especially those below 10.
We have all sorts of plans in this country. We have no problem with plans. We have problem with execution of the plans that we have. And the only way you can do it is to bring knowledgeable and committed people to do it. Education has been politicized. All that you hear is a lot of lip service to education. People who are committed to education are not there. You go to the states, for example, the primary education or basic education is the responsibility of state and local governments. How many local governments are committed to education? How many local governments have teachers? I understand that there is a recent study that revealed that about 42% of the teachers that teach in certain parts of this country are not qualified. The local government education authorities are not recruiting qualified people. They are recruiting people who have left secondary school to teach because the wage bill is lower. Who are those who are not paid? Those who are not paid are teachers in primary schools. And other people have, the private schools have taken over in some parts of this country. And as far as I'm concerned, private schools are business centers to make money. Knowledge is not being distant. Some of the states have come, they have programs of free education. Well, I agree with them entirely. The states are free of education. The schools are free of education. That is the concept of free education. So what are we doing? That is education. The teachers that are knowledgeable are no longer in the classrooms. Our teacher training institutions are not funded. The people that go to teachers training institutions are those who have no other choice in life. The worst people are recruited into teacher training institutions to teach those who ought to know. We have teachers that have been produced that are completely analog. And they are supposed to teach digitally minded students. What is the future of this country without quality teachers? Before we can talk about educational development in this country, we must address our teacher training issues. The quality of teacher training is way down. And when you talk about statistics of this country, I must say it openly, that the statistics are statistics of largely a part of this country. A lot of it is northern Nigerian statistics. What are our teachers, what are our local government chairmen, what are our governors doing about education? Should we now be insisting to pay lip service to education? The governors and the chairmen of local governments should take education seriously, because there's no way we can go in this country without education.
And education is on the concurrent list, and we expect that the federal and state governments, should, of course, do the needful, to get this issue of primary education tackled. Now, observers are saying that the quality of the national school curriculum is being undermined, by generally low quality of teachers, which you have just harped on, who implement it, but which ultimately translates to low-level learning. Now, how can this issue of teachers be addressed? We talked about teacher training colleges. How can that be addressed? Because that's another aspect that is very, very pertinent.
to address the issues of education.
Yes.
The foundation of it is the quality of the teachers that we have. Who are those who go to teacher training colleges? Those are the people who really have nothing else to do.
But how do you know who is a teacher if you don't pass through?
Well, you go through teacher training institutions, but let us look at the quality of people. In other countries, the most qualified are those who go for teacher training. In Singapore, for example, it's much more difficult to find a place in a teacher training institution than to go to a university to read medicine or read law or read engineering. The best go for teacher training because the entire population of the country is dependent on the quality of the teachers that we have. There's no nation that can go beyond the quality of teachers. But we have politicized education. Everything is seen through the prism of politics. You cannot be a principal of a secondary school without consideration that has nothing to do with character and competence. You cannot be headmaster of a school unless you know somebody else who knows somebody. Merit must be made to count, and that is the only way. Education is about those who do not know teaching those who know. And education has only two purposes in life. Education is to teach you how to live, and education is to teach you how to earn a living. Those are the two main aims of education. And we are missing it. We miss it because the people who are committed, the teachers that are qualified, they are not there. The children are not learning. We have some kind of miseducation that is going on. And I've said several times, one of the ways you must make education meaningful in this country is that education should be treated like the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Health. You cannot be a Minister of Health unless you are a medical doctor. You cannot be a Minister of
Education,
of Justice, unless you are a lawyer. What stops an education is being a Minister of Education. And he didn't start. The first Minister of Education was Ajan Nwachukwu. He didn't. After Ajan Nwachukwu came Wenike Briggs. Wenike Briggs was not a teacher. After Wenike Briggs came A.Y. Eke. A.Y. Eke was not a teacher. After Eke came a lot of other people that were not teachers. What is wrong with appointing teachers to take charge of education? That is what is done in most of the countries. But nobody takes education seriously. We cannot solve the problem of this country, education in this country, if we only throw money at education. The federal government is only intervening. The basic education is the responsibility of states and local governments. So what the UBEC and other things, the federal government, is an intervention. So the federal government, as far as I'm concerned, is trying best to make sure that there's education in this country. But the state governors and chairman of local governments must take education as a point of responsibility. On the dining table of knowledge, you know, there are three people on the dining table: those who go to dine, those who are waiters, and those who serve. On the table of education, where do we want to be? Do we want to go as diners, or do we want to be there as servers, or do we want to be there as waiters? We must do something. We must do something. So all we are talking about quality of tertiary education is nonsense. If we do not have our primary basic education right, whatever we are doing after that is a waste of time.
Now, we have been told that Nigeria possesses the largest number of out-of-school children. What can be done to reverse the trend?
Well, we need the political will to get them back to school. We have the policy on education says it is compulsory. What are those people at that level doing? What are they doing? The federal government has intervened at the level of education. The states that get $1 billion naira for if they assess this. So what are they doing with it? If we do not do something about the out-of-school children, it's a time bomb. It's a time bomb. And let nobody be comfortable that you live in a country or a section of this country where out-of-school children is not a problem. If any part of this country is educationally underdeveloped, all of us are underdeveloped. So if you have about 14 million children out of school, so What does that mean? It's likely that the parents of those who are out of school are all themselves illiterate. All right? So that's what it's a serious situation that we must. Schools, history of schools all over the world had a missionary or religious background. And all the religions must come back to do something about education. The two religions, predominant religions in Nigeria, have a lot of respect for education. So what are we doing? We must do something about the out-of-school children. And as far as I'm concerned, we talk about new government house or infrastructure. The most important infrastructure is the infrastructure of the mind.
All right, at this juncture, I'd like to thank you immensely for sharing your world of experience, with us this evening on Weekend Fire. Thank you very much for coming. And I have been speaking with Sylvester Onoja, former principal of Queen's College, Lagos, and former commissioner of education, Kogi State, and of course, former director in the Federal Ministry of Education. Thank you once again for coming. Next for us now is sports. Stay with us. Now, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It is a popular saying. It is in view of this that the Naval Officers Sports Association has provided new sporting facilities to boost the physical and mental alertness of Noah Secondary School students in Karachi. Correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
Sporting activities are key to healthy living and boosting psychomotive well-being of those who engage. This has attracted the attention of stakeholders at different levels on the need to invest more in sports as one of the key unifying factors among young Nigerians, especially those of school age.
Most of them will end up representing us outside, not only outside the school, but outside the country.
The students have no reason not to excel, not just in the academics, but also in extracurricular pursuits like sports.
The facilities provided include 4 blocks of a modern sports arena. For 16-year-old Louis, an SS3 student of the sciences in the school, the arena will make his dream of becoming the next Hakeem Olajuwon of basketball a reality.
With this, I feel that it will go a huge way in helping us to intellectual abilities.
Members of the association, all mothers themselves with the welfare of the growing children at heart, say they believe that adopting sports will go a long way in curbing youth restiveness and social vices. Naja'atu Tijani.
And that's where we conclude tonight's edition of Weekend File. Let's do this again next Saturday when we come back with a fresh edition of the program. From all of us here, it's good night.